Sometimes the people we ignore are the ones sent to change our lives forever. She was just a poor girl selling bananas on the roadside, tired, hungry, forgotten by the world. But one day, she stopped to help an old woman no one else would even look at. No one knew that simple act would open the gates of wealth, destiny, and a secret buried in silence for years. Because the woman she helped was the mother of a billionaire. And what happened next will move you to tears. The sun had barely stretched its golden fingers across the rooftops of Aloran when Ada Ora stepped out of the small, rusted door of her one-room apartment. The morning air still held the chill of the night, and the streets were mostly quiet, save for the distant call of a muezzin and the occasional bleating of goats tied to crooked poles. Ada Ora adjusted the scarf around her head and bent to help her 10-year-old brother Chaik fasten his worn-out sandals. His shirt, though neatly ironed, was a bit too small for him now, but it was the only school uniform he had. "Sis, you forgot to put groundnut in my pocket," Chaik mumbled sleepily. She smiled, reached into a nylon bag, and dropped a handful of roasted groundnuts into his breast pocket. "Don't eat it all at once. You know how that teacher likes to talk before break time," she said, brushing imaginary dust off his shoulders. With the familiar weight of a banana tray balanced on her head, Ada Ora held her brother's hand, and together they began the walk to his school. The streets of Ilorin were a mix of vibrant and weary colorful rappers and shouting traders, side by side with broken gutters and the smell of petrol from passing Okadas. Ada Ora had grown up here, orphaned at 14, doing menial jobs and hawking just to survive. After her parents died in a car crash, relatives abandoned her and Chaik. But despite the hardship, Ada Ora never let it break her spirit. As they turned the bend toward Aiken Street, she noticed something strange. An elderly woman bent over, her wrapper dragging on the ground, was struggling to lift a large, dusty sack. Her arms were trembling, and her legs barely held her upright. She tried pulling the sack forward, but it was too heavy. Passers-by young and old walked around her, some even muttering insults under their breath. "Nah, who send mama come carry load this early? Muskew, this old people sef no day ever stay house." No one helped, but Ada Ora stopped. She placed her tray gently on a nearby bench and told Chaik to wait there. "Ma," she called out gently, "let me help you." The old woman looked up, her tired eyes narrowing to study the young girl in front of her. There was a moment's pause. Then she nodded slowly. "My daughter, may God bless you." Ada Ora lifted the sack without complaint, balancing it easily with the strength she had built from years of hawking. As they walked, the woman leaned slightly on Ada Ora's arm. "You have a good heart," the woman said quietly. "Most people pass me like I was a goat." Ada Ora chuckled. "People are always in a hurry these days. Even in old age, one is reminded of how invisible you can become," the woman muttered under her breath. They reached a crumbling building with paint peeling off the walls and a gate that screeched like a crying child when it opened. The compound was quiet, save for a blackened cooking pot abandoned beside a broken plastic chair. "Just drop it by the wall, my child," the woman said. Ada Ora set the sack down gently and turned to leave. "Wait." The woman reached into her faded wrapper and brought out a crumpled 500 note. "Ma, no, I didn't help for money," Ada Ora protested. The woman grabbed her hand gently but firmly. "I am not paying you. I am blessing you. Please take it, and may your days be long." Reluctantly, Ada Ora accepted the note, bowed slightly, and walked away, her tray of bananas bouncing lightly with each step. Cheek looked up as she approached. "Who was that old woman?" he asked. "Someone's mother," she replied softly. "Someone who just needed help." What Adora didn't know, what she couldn't have known, was that this simple act of kindness had just unlocked a door to a future that would stretch far beyond the dusty streets of Ilorin. a door to a destiny shaped not by wealth or power, but by the purity of a heart that still believed in goodness. And from a high-rise window far across town, a man stared at his phone. A grainy image of his mother laughing beside a young banana hawker filled the screen. His eyes narrowed. "Find that girl," he said. The next morning arrived with the clatter of market women setting up their stalls, roosters crowing in stubborn competition, and distant honks from keke drivers waking up sleepy neighborhoods. Adaora tied her wrapper tighter, made sure Chike was set for school, and lifted her banana tray onto her head with practiced ease. But unlike other days, something tugged at her heart. She found herself looking around Aiken Street as she approached, half hoping and half worrying that the old woman might still be sitting under the mango tree by the broken water tank. And there she was, dressed in the same slightly faded wrapper, her walking stick beside her and a small calabash of water by her side. The woman smiled gently the moment she spotted Adaora. "My child," she called. "Good morning, Ma," Adaora said warmly, placing her tray gently on the ground. She handed the woman 2 roasted groundnuts wrapped in paper. "Just small snack for you this morning," she said. "You brought me food?" The woman's eyes welled up with surprise. "But you're the one who should be receiving." Adaora smiled. "You prayed for me yesterday, remember? That's worth more than food." They sat for a while, Adaora on a stone, the old woman on a wooden stool. Chike leaned against a wall, playing with a paper football made from cement bags. They talked about nothing and everything. The woman spoke of the village she came from, of a life filled with both joy and betrayal. She never revealed her name, only that she once had a son who had grown too rich to remember where he came from. Adaora listened quietly, her heart aching for the woman. "Sometimes," the old woman said, "wealth makes children forget that their mothers once hawked to feed them." Adaora didn't press further. She simply nodded and said, "Someday, God will return what was taken from you." The woman smiled. "He already has, in you." What Adaora didn't know was that across the street, inside a sleek black Prado Jeep with tinted windows, someone was watching. He had been there yesterday too. A tall man in a sharp dark suit, sunglasses covering his eyes, leaned forward in the passenger seat. His name was Mr. Edom, personal assistant to Nathaniel Okonkwo, one of the wealthiest and most mysterious tech billionaires in Nigeria. Nathaniel had spent the last 6 months searching for his mother after she vanished without warning. No ransom call, no media leak, no note, just gone. Then one evening, a local security man in Ilorin uploaded a video on Facebook. An elderly woman sitting near Aiken Street talking to a fruit seller. Nathaniel froze when he saw the footage. He would know his mother's voice anywhere. She was alive. And she was with that girl. "Track her, but don't approach her yet," Nathaniel had instructed. And so, every day, the black SUV appeared, hidden in plain sight, watching Adaora's movements, her morning routes, her fruit-selling locations, her interaction with the old woman. Mr. Edom, sitting in the back seat, wrote notes in a small book. "Adaora, banana hawker. Lives in rundown compound. Cares for younger brother. Very humble, deeply respectful. Shows consistent kindness to subject. Madam Gloria." Inside the house, the billionaire stared at these notes and pictures, day after day. Something about Adaora touched him deeply. She reminded him of a time before the fame, before the money, before he changed, but it wasn't time yet. He had to be sure. One evening, after selling for the day, Adaora sat on a concrete slab outside her room. Chike was inside, doing homework by the dim light of a rechargeable lamp. She looked at the 1,200 she had made that day. It would barely be enough to buy Gary and vegetables, let alone Chike's school sandals, which were now flapping. She sighed deeply and leaned her head back, looking at the stars. God, she whispered, you see everything. If I'm meant to rise, then please lift me soon. I'm tired. Across town, in a penthouse suite in Abuja, Nathaniel stared out the window at the night sky too. The stars shone the same, but his heart felt different tonight. He picked up his phone, dialed, and said 2 words, "Get ready." The rhythm of the following week unfolded like a gentle melody. Adora's morning routine became almost sacred. Wake up, get Chike ready, balance her banana tray, and stop by the mango tree on Aiken Street where the old woman, now fondly referred to in Adora's heart as Mama, sat every day. Their conversations were light and filled with warmth. Sometimes, Mama told stories about old villages where yam festivals were grander than weddings. Other times, she would hum forgotten Igbo lullabies that reminded Adora of her mother. And whenever Adora brought food, no matter how little, Mama would reach for her hand and pray with such intensity that it often left Adara fighting back tears. She never asked Mama her full name. She didn't care. She only knew that this old woman had become like a second mother to her. But then came Thursday. That morning, the tree stood alone. No stool, no calabash, no Mama. Adora blinked and looked around. Perhaps she was late, perhaps Mama was running an errand. She returned the next day, same silence. Then the next and the next. By Sunday, her worry had transformed into something heavier. Fear. She began asking around. She knocked on the gate of the old compound where she had first helped the woman carry the sack. A grumpy man in boxers answered the door. "Yes," he said, scratching his stomach. "I'm looking for the old woman who used to live here." He frowned. "Ah, that Madame Dango. Gone, as in moved out?" He nodded. "Nah, her family people come carry her. Nah, night them come. She no even tell us bye." Adora's mouth hung open. Did she say where she was going? Any name? Phone number? The man shrugged. She just said, "It's time to go home." I even helped carry her things put inside Jeep. Jeep? Adora echoed. Big black one, tinted windows, security man even wear suit Seth. Nah like film. That night, Adora tossed and turned on her mat. Mama had disappeared without a word, without a goodbye. It felt like losing her mother all over again. Why wouldn't she tell me? She whispered into the darkness. Chike stirred in his sleep beside her, and she pulled the wrapper over him. By Monday, something else happened. While hawking at her usual spot near Unity Road, Adora noticed a strange black SUV pull up just a few feet away. The glass was tinted too dark to see inside. She paused for a moment, uneasy, but shook it off. Customers were calling, and she needed the money. But the next day, the SUV was there again. And the day after that, it never parked too close, it never followed her directly, but it was always there. Nathaniel Okonkwo sat in his sleek home office, the curtains drawn halfway, the city skyline glowing beyond the glass. He hadn't slept well. In front of him were photo still shots of Adora laughing with his mother, feeding her akara, helping her fix her wrapper. He had heard everything from his mother when she returned home. "Son, I went searching for something money can't buy," she had said. "I found it in a dusty street, in the heart of a girl who had nothing but still gave." Nathaniel was quiet for a long time before he asked, "What do you want me to do?" "I want you to bless her, not with leftovers, with honor." And so he did what he always did. When he needed answers, she watched, silently, strategically, through his people, through the shadows. And now, it was time. On Friday, just as Adora was packing up for the day, the same SUV rolled to a stop in front of her. Before she could turn to run, the back door swung open, and a clean-shaven man in a sharp blue suit stepped out. "Miss Adara Okeke?" he asked, his voice low and polite. She froze. "Yes. My name is Mr. Edom. I'm here on behalf of a very important individual who wishes to speak with you, privately. Ada Ora's mouth went dry. Her heart thundered in her chest. Her mind raced. I didn't do anything wrong, she whispered, gripping her tray. No, ma'am, Mr. Edom said gently. In fact, what you did may be the most right thing anyone has done in a long time. He opened the door. Please, come with me. It's time you knew the truth. The journey was unlike anything Adora had ever experienced. As the black SUV cruised smoothly along the highway, she sat stiffly in the leather seat, fingers clenched tightly around her banana tray, which she refused to leave behind. Her mind was a storm flashes of the old woman's face, Mr. Edom's calm voice, the strange disappearance, and the man's words. What you did may be the most right thing anyone has done in a long time. The tinted windows concealed everything outside, but from the occasional flashes of wide highways, she could tell they were no longer in Ilorin. Where are we going? She finally found the courage to ask. Mr. Edom smiled gently. To where answers live. That did not help. After nearly 5 hours, the SUV pulled through an imposing gate guarded by uniformed men. The compound that unfolded before Ada Ora looked like something out of a dream or a movie. Palms lined a paved driveway that wound past perfectly cut grass. Water fountains danced under the afternoon sun, and up ahead, a massive white mansion stood like a castle. Ada Ora blinked. This is a house? She muttered under her breath. 2 more guards opened the car door as if she were royalty. Her rubber slippers touched the marble tiles, and suddenly, she was hyper-aware of her faded dress, her tray of bananas, and the lingering scent of market smoke on her. Inside, a maid approached and offered her chilled water. She declined, too nervous to swallow anything. Then came a soft voice from above. Let her come up. Ada Ora looked up. At the top of a wide spiral staircase, dressed in an elegant blue lace buba and wrapped in gold headgear, stood Mamathe old woman from the street, only now she looked like a queen. Mama? Adora breathed.